Whoa, talk about a state of the union. Where are we right now? As a world, as a people, as a community? If there's one thing that the last couple of weeks should have shown you, or the last couple of months should have shown you, is that you need to have you together. I have watched people, the industries, celebrities, politicians, and I am clear that one, it's okay to start over from scratch. Two, it's okay to go, man, I really don't even have these answers right now. But three, it's not okay to say, I don't know where I'm going to get them and it's impossible for me to get them. If you haven't taken a moment to acknowledge you enough to say, it's okay for me to start over, and what do I have? Right now, I wanted to do this State of Union instead of our studio. I decided that I was going to do it inside of the room that I've been in for the last week. So I'm going to do a 360. Okay. And I want to transparently show, I'm going to take you downstairs to the shop. I'm also going to show you the cafe. I'm going to show you laying down tile. I'm going to show you building. Because 8 months ago, I really looked at myself and I said, man, is it really possible for me to do these impossible things? As my bra straps are showing. Here we go. Human. Okay. So I said to myself, man, is it really possible for me to actually take the pieces that we have here at DTDT, here inside of the Tiffany Largy world, but more importantly, inside of the space that we've created called the House of Story? And I said to myself, man, is it really possible to actually start over? The answer is yes. Let me tell you what you don't want to do in this next quarter, in this next month. You don't need to go buy new things. You don't need to adopt a new item. You don't necessarily need a new process. What you need to do is go through the things that you have, go through the boxes that you have, go through the files that you have, go through the files that belong to the people, that belong to the projects that you started. You need to go into what you already have and to settle for this idea that it's possible. It's very possible that inside of some of the amazing things that you have, and I'm moving so that I can get a little more comfortable. Let me see if I messed up this light. I probably did. Here we go. Let's see. I've spent the last couple of months, I guess I got to go back to where I was. I spent the last couple of months opening up boxes, files, projects that we started, things that we had, ideas. And I said to myself, why do I need to develop new things? Why do you need to develop new things? What works for me and what has worked for me tremendously in getting, so I have a company that I've taken from zero to about 40, I guess to 40K a month, maybe 50K a month, somewhere inside of there. And inside of 40 to 50K a month, I say to myself, what new thing have I used versus what old things have I used? Now, there's a difference in using old things and simply not caring about the person who's consuming the product or item. But if you care, you can take the things that you already have and apply them to today. What I found is that I was around a lot of people who believed that the idea was to take the money and the cash that they had and to invest it into new ideas and new processes. No, you need to take the cash, the resources, and the mind capacity that you have and invest it into you, but B, people to help you. People to help you think, people to help you physically move things. I mean, look at this. Can you imagine me moving all of this myself, these boxes? There's no way. I've had people in here, at least a person or two, every single day for the last couple of weeks as I piece together, not back a thing, but as I look for where we are. Like I said to myself, we were looking through things and I found this box that we haven't touched, but we have our own mixers. We have mixers sitting in a box. We have lav mics sitting in a box. Now, I'm inside of the story agency doing this, but I've done this inside of every room in my house, every file in my filing cabinet, every single box that I've had, because I said to myself, I refuse to believe that the things that I had and that I acquired and that I did are of no value anymore. I was brilliant back then. I made great decisions back then. Were they the best decisions? No, but that's okay, because if I didn't make the perfect decision and I'm still alive, I have the time and the room and the opportunity to take the decisions and the things that did not work or did not work to what I wanted, take the pieces of them and put them into new skin, new ideas, new time frames in front of new people in a new way. But you can't do it until you assess what you have. This world that I'm watching, especially in first world countries, where I'm watching this crazy hunger to acquire new things and to do away with the old and to do away with the old, to me, it's crazy. I think it's actually insane. In a while, I'm going to show you, I'm going to take you downstairs into one of my projects that I've been working on for the last probably year, but now really heavy in the last 4 months. And I've become almost like a general contractor. Not really, because I ask for help every step of the way. But my point is that we have built an entire business out of taking things that already exist and putting into something new. For the person, for making, so let me start with money, okay? There are three things that I've focused on getting myself right in. I don't know if that makes any sense, but getting myself right in. And three, it is in separating and creating clear lines for the things that I'm building. Creating clear lines for the things that I'm building. So I own a thrift shop. I needed to make sure the thrift shop had its own space. It has its own bank accounts. It has its own files. It has its own team. It has its own place where I store things. It doesn't have a place right next to the DTDT place, because that doesn't work. When you take too many ideas, especially when you're building and you're trying to scale, and this is specifically for the person who's trying to scale, or they've been pushing like this, and they're like, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. Let me tell you what the State of the Union dictates for us, period, for the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months, and for me, the next couple of years. It's creating clear lines in the sand and taking those things and putting them here. So the thrift shop has its own world. It has its own team that does those things. Now, fast forward, this here is a house of story. And what I'm looking for is, I was looking for the opportunity. What can we do to support some of the interns and special projects that we have coming on? So I was like, you know what? In the art of using using the same things, I decided to look and see, what do we have that we can sell to the community, to the local community? What do we have that we can rent to the local community? What do we have that we can use in other endeavors? So by me opening boxes, I found lav mics and TVs and all. I didn't find a TV in a box. I found a TV in a storage, but I found all types of things. And at first I was going to say, you know what, let me pay someone else to do it. Let me get help. But I'm going to tell you, there's something delicious about holding your vision, staying focused, and doing it yourself. But you can't do it yourself in pieces. What I found was that 2 hours here, 4 hours here, 6 hours here wasn't working for me. I needed to sit down and focus. So in some regards, I've disregarded everything else that is in front of me or next to me. And I wake up every day, and between 6 and 7 in the morning, I am racing from my home to go back into the area of focus. The second thing, I've made a decision that if I'm going to run my body a bit harder, I need to make sure, and let me say this to you, you need to make sure that you are pouring into your body. And I don't mean with words. So I've taken back up juicing and aggressive amounts. I have let go of meat. I've drank very little alcohol. And it's not that I don't want those things, it's that I know that I need to treat my body like a machine. And right now, my body needs to put out a certain amount of output without breaking down. There's a lot of things happening right now in the news. There's a lot of things happening in the world. And you might think to yourself, I don't know if I'm going crazy or if the world has just lost its mind. My biggest and best advice for you is in these two pockets. Get closer to people who share your ideas. Move further away from people who don't share your ideas and values. Don't worry about what is happening in the government. Don't worry about what is happening in the White House. Don't worry about what is happening and anywhere else in your own house. Think of your house like the governor's mansion. If you entertained and thought of your own home as the governor's mansion, and you ran your life as if your house, your household, and the things and people in your household were amongst the biggest of the domain, then what is happening in the White House and what is happening on social media and what is happening in the news, what is happening with celebrities, they will become irrelevant to you. I still do not turn on social media to watch any news. If I have any interest in finding out what's going on in the White House, I go to whitehouse.gov and I read the foolishness there. It is very simple because it allows me a factual way to move through the world. But what I need to do is keep my blinders on so that I am highly focused on what's here in my house. There is something to be said about our willingness to simply adopt where we are and our willingness to make good on what we said we were going to do. In 3 weeks from now, 2 things will be true. Number one, this space will become a headquarters and there will be people working in here, and I would have laid out the foundation myself for what I need other people to do. Because I can't go back afterwards and say, hey, you didn't do the thing that you said you were going to do, or in the way you said you were going to do it, if I don't lay the foundation first for what I expect to happen. So first, you lay out the foundation. Second, do you have it written down? Me writing policies and procedures and signs and putting them up has been one of the greatest gifts I think that I get. Let me tell you something cool that I've done. I'm going to take you downstairs, and hopefully our Wi-Fi, the internet stays. But I decided to do this here on this device because it will allow me to take a trip. But I'm going to take you into the store because, one, I went through everything that we had here. We're in the House of Story, okay? But then two, I needed to create a space for a new idea. And 8 months ago, actually 4 or 5 years ago, I used to stand in front of this building all the time. And I would stand in front of this building and I would just say to myself that a cafe needs to be here. A cafe should be here. Why isn't a cafe here? Look, so let me show you this. Okay, and now if I show you this and I come inside, I'm like, this is me compartmentalizing. Oh, we have a different music in here today. We're not playing around. Okay, so today we're laying down this floor. Hola! And the nice guy is here to lay down this floor. And the truth is that a few months ago, this was not even possible. Good morning. This was not even possible. This was a crazy idea. Well, it was a crazy idea, but let me take you back in here. Because sometimes you need to let people see the work. So we're open for business right now. And this door's not open. Well, we're open for business right now. Oh, that jacket's nice. Isn't that nice? Yeah. So, but we leave the doors open for people to see our mess. Let me give you an example of trying to fit something in that would work. So this here, we had been trying to make this fridge is about $1,400, okay? And it meets the compliance that we need. But the truth of the matter, let me get out of this guy's way. He's moving tile. The truth of the matter is that I kept trying to make that work. I kept trying to make the fridge work, but there's only so much space. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to get this thing to work. We kept drawing and redrawing and doing all types of things to try to get this thing to work. Do you know the end result would happen? The end result is that I had to realize that I was trying to take a thing that we had and I was trying to create value around it enough so that it could stay, because it was $1,400. It's crazy valuable. And what I thought was that if I could just make this thing work, we would save almost $2,000, right? Delivery, labor, and all of the above. It took a moment for me to realize that no matter what I did, I wasn't going to make that piece work. And that's the reality of so much of our lives, that we try and try to make the piece work. What I needed to do was to come to terms with the fact that this piece, you're inside of my thrift shop right now, you're inside of my store, we're building a cafe. I'm getting rid of it. That thing is leaving on Monday, and I'm just going to spend the money and buy a new piece. Why? Because not only does it make more sense, but it's going to allow us to build mentally free and not try to make it work. Stop trying to make things work. Stop trying to fit them in where you feel like they should fit in because it's the right thing to do. Stop trying to be a good steward of the items that you have. Some of those items, when you go through them, you have to make a decision. I was pained by it, but I needed to make a decision. My simple statement to you is make the decision to let the item go. Make a decision to let the item go. Because if you don't let the item go, you'll have weight around you and not even realize how slow you're moving because of the weight that's there. And I don't know how to explain it. So in this State of the Union, let me just wrap this up real quick. Separate the things that you have. Go through the things. Those are new things. You need to trust the decisions you made some time ago, and trust yourself, and ask yourself, how can I make these things work? And if you can't, then get help. Third is if I can do it, you can do it. I think that's it. If I can do it, you can do it. That is it. So I can't wait to see what you do. I really can't wait to see what you do this month. I wanted to show you these spaces because every day I wake up as a CEO of 6 companies, and I'm reminded what happens when you let go of small thinking, when you don't listen to what the market's doing. I could care less about what the market's doing, what my peers are doing, what the industry is doing. And when you center in on yourself and you're like, okay, I got me. What's next? Ask any, building a shop and a store, building a cafe, building the House of Story, owning a production company, and then being the leader of an amazing community, a set of people who I feel just have my ultimate heart, has been everything I ever dreamed of. But if I had waited for someone to give me permission for the next step, I'd still be in line. Whatever it is that you're trying to do this month, just know that the formula starts with you going first. I pray that I have served you in some way of this haphazardness of me walking through this State of the Union of where we are and what it dictates and calls for us to do in this next chapter of our lives together. I'm grateful and excited that I get to be part of your journey. I can't wait to hear from you. But I will say night school is coming up. I'm going to take a deep breath. And as I walk into this month, I'll be knee deep inside of Do the Damn Thing as I'm wrapped up with the cafe. I love you. I'm honored. Bye.